Hi, everybody. I'm Deb Benally, one of the early childhood mental health consultants in the San Luis Valley, and I'm joined by Catherine Trujillo, who is our early childhood reflective coach. We are going to talk today about grief and loss. So, Catherine, do you want to introduce yourself and say hi, and we can go ahead and get started?
Thank you for having us today. And let's just go ahead and jump into the PowerPoint.
Okay. Grief and Loss by Catherine Trujillo, who does fabulous PowerPoints.
Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome. We've had a lot of losses during COVID, and in normal circumstances, we have loss anyhow. But this has been an extremely stressful time. So losses during COVID have been a sense of losing our normalcy. What was normal life like? We've lost our ability to predict. We don't know what's happening next. We've lost a sense of safety, and we've lost some of our traditions and celebrations that we've been able to do every year. Just know and be aware that everyone is experiencing some type of loss, including our children. And know that loss and grief may not look like what you might expect from a child. They show loss and grief differently. Children haven't developed the skills to cope with loss the same way adults have. So we're going to kind of compare what loss might look like in an adult and what it might look like in a child. With an adult, there might be problems with sleep. Weight gain or loss is not uncommon. You may be eating more, eating less. May feel tired all the time, even though you're sleeping. You may feel and withdraw from social interactions, and a loss of interest in hobbies that you used to love to do. In a child, loss might look like regression in behavior. A child that might not have been wetting the bed may start wetting the bed again. A child that sleeps by themselves might want to sleep with you again. A certain amount of regression in grieving children is normal. Separation anxiety and clinginess. Grief is a time when children may not want to be left alone, and they may want to hold on tighter to you. They may look apathetic or even be withdrawn. Not a lot of eye contact, listless, not engaged in things they usually would be very interested in being involved in. Physical ailments, stomach aches, headaches, sleep disturbances, not eating well. They may feel guilty, like, did I cause this to happen? Did I cause the circumstances around the situation? Did I make that happen? And if there's a death that they're grieving, they may show an interest in that death. Like, what is death? What does that look like? Or they may be involved in more risk-taking and aggressive behaviors, more hitting or yelling. Those kinds of behaviors may occur. Common feelings associated with grief or an unexpected loss, because this just doesn't apply to COVID. It applies to any loss that we have. Even the loss of a pet can be very devastating to a child or an adult. Shock, disbelief, guilt, despair, anger, sadness, shame, anxiety, loneliness, hopelessness. And I'm going to read these because if they occur in you, they also occur in your child. They may feel stressed, self-blame, helplessness. The world just got out of control. Confusion, numbness, rejection, depression, pain, disbelief, denial that it happened, feeling very overwhelmed or distressed. All of those feelings can occur in a given day when you're experiencing loss and grief. You can flip from anger to loneliness, to shame, to rejection, and so can your child. How are you doing? I'm fine. And then terrible, and then crying, and then laughing, and then screaming, and then grateful, then over it, and then determined, and then terrified, and then anxious, and then happy, and then exhausted, in all the same minute. And I just want to remind you that if you're feeling this way, so are your children. And you know what? It's okay to have all those feelings. It's important to recognize the stages of grief because we all go through them when we're grieving. Stage 1, denial. Denial is when you are in a state of shock and disbelief, nature's way of letting in only as much as we can handle. So we might going around saying, didn't happen. I don't know if I can believe it yet, or I can't believe it. We're just kind of denying with a slow acceptance. Stage 2 is when we get to anger. Where there is anger, there is always pain underneath. Eckhart Tolle. Anger is the emotion we are most used to managing. Underneath anger is pain. And this is a necessary stage. We usually know more about suppressing anger than feeling it. Be willing to feel your anger. It's okay to be angry about what happened. It's okay to be angry that someone passed away. It's okay to be angry if someone got hurt. It's okay to be angry at COVID. Stage 3, bargaining. We become lost in a maze of if only or what if statements. Guilt is the companion of bargaining. What if I'd only done this? What if I had only done this? I promise I'll do better if you just make them well. The bargaining stage of grief. And along with that is guilt. So there you might have the child going, is it my fault mom left? Is it my fault dad left? What did I do? I promise I'll be a better kid. Those are the feelings that our children have when circumstances cause them to feel pain and grief. Stage 4, depression. It is the appropriate response to a great loss. Depression is normal and it's part of the process of healing. Allow yourself to be depressed. Don't allow yourself to sit in it for a long period of time. Catherine, I've lost count. Is it time for you to take over now?
I think I'll take over, Deb. So stage 5 is acceptance. Accepting that this new reality is the permanent reality. And it does not mean you're okay with what happened. Stage 6, serenity. Serenity is a state of being serene, calmness, peacefulness. Again, this isn't saying that you're okay with what happened, but you are accepting that it did happen and coming to terms with that. So we talked about the stages, and know that not everybody goes through the stages at the same time, the same way, and you may regress. So you may go through 3 stages and then go back to stage 1 and then jump around to stage 6. So there's no right or wrong way to go through grief, and understanding that we all handle it different and it's going to look different for everyone. Strategies to support and coping with loss for adults and children. So pay attention to your feelings. Acknowledge and label feelings without judgment. Stay connected to your support system, your family, your work family, friends, pets, etc. Avoid unhelpful coping strategies and substances. Try replacing unhealthy strategies with new ones. So if you have a tendency to maybe go outside and have a cigarette when you're stressed, try a different strategy and go outside and walk around the block. Remember, be flexible with changing routines. Remember that it is within your, remember what is within your control and what is not in your control. And this little diagram here shows that I cannot control outside things that are happening, but I can control how I'm handling them. So I can control my attitude. I can control if I need to turn off the TV, if something's upsetting for me. I can control what I do and don't do. So picking a positive activity over a negative activity. And this one is primarily for COVID related. But you could also make your own for your situation and really think about what's in your control and what's not, and focusing on what you can control. So you're not overwhelmed with everything coming in at you at once. So practice self-compassion. Give yourself time and space. Social distancing equals physical distancing, not emotional distancing. Recognize the difference between grief and depression. So like Deb mentioned earlier, it's okay to feel depressed, but we don't want to stay depressed. We need to, at some point, get out of that stage. So understand that your grieving process will be unique to you. And we all handle it different, and that's okay. Here are some helpful tips. Get outdoors, get some fresh air, read, take a bath, time with pets, get a massage, exercise, get takeout from your favorite restaurant, and then you don't have dishes and kitchen cleanup as well. Watch your favorite movie, drink a cup of tea or coffee, chat with friends and family, spend time with friends and family, maybe doing a hobby that you both enjoy, and try a new hobby. Maybe you've always wanted to paint and you just never got around to it. Now might be the time. Honor what you've lost. Find a way to memorialize what you've lost while bringing new perspective to your life. Naming meaningful moments as they come. Consider some positive outcomes or memories that have happened due to the pandemic, some yet to be revealed. So it's just really honoring and remembering everything and making it important. And just like we do when somebody dies, we hold a service and we have a tombstone and we go and visit that place and leave flowers. You could do something that's special for you to honor what you have lost. And this is an individual response and resilience plan. And it lists 5 elements on the left and some examples in the middle. And then the right side would be for you to fill out to personalize for yourself. So the top one is safety. An example of that is make a plan with family and friends to check in on health and stressors once per week. If that doesn't maybe suit your lifestyle, you could change that up. And then the next one is calm. And they put sleep, exercise, and breathe. So the plan for the example is to wake up at 8 a.m. and be in bed by 10. efficiency, empowerment, engagement. And a way to do that would be invest time into meal planning for the next 2 weeks to maybe alleviate some stress of having to deal with that. And connection. We are wired to lean on each other for support. And an example of that is video chat with friends or family. Play cards, write a letter. So again, personalize yours on the right-hand side. And then the last one is hope. And one here is brush teeth with intention of being able to close the 6-foot gap one day. Or start plants from seeds and nurture the plants as they grow. So there are just some suggestions there. But it really, this is to me a way to move through the days until we can kind of get back to our normal or get back to a place where we feel more comfortable out of our grieving and loss. And we have come to the end of our presentation. As always, we have put our contact information. So I have Deb Benally there. Frances wasn't able to join us today, but we anticipate that she will join us on our next recording. And I'm listed at the bottom. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, would like any additional information, please feel free to contact us. Is there anything you'd like to add, Deb?
Nope, just thank you all very much, and I hope you enjoy the recording. And reach out if you need to. Thank you. Bye.